Thanks. Aylin, how are
Hello,
you?
Scott. I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. How's your, where are you, whereabouts are you right now?
I'm actually in Malta right now.
Oh,
Um, I
wow.
I could turn around the camera, but I would probably then film people's bathing shots. I would just be very quick. There you go.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm actually filming here at the moment.
Oh, what?
Yeah, an action series called Apollo Has Fallen. So something very different from falling into place.
Is that
But
the
yeah.
TV series based on Olympus Has Fallen?
Yeah, so
Kind of.
basically, yeah. So it's the same universe. It's like a universe of like MI6 and spies and military and yeah, it's a lot of action. It's a lot of action.
Oh, nice. We might come back to that. We might come back
Yeah.
to that because I quite like those
Yeah, okay. Okay.
series. Congratulations on your film.
Thank you so much.
I watched it last night and it was wonderful. It's the second time in a week, two Sundays in a row that I've stayed up late to watch a film. The other week I watched a British film called Lollipop, and that kind of
Hmm.
struck me in the heart as well. So
Good.
every time my wife goes to bed, I'm kind of on a Sunday when she goes to bed early, I'm kind of like, I might watch my film tonight. Let's watch that and see how we go.
Nice.
Take me back to the start of this because I know it was kind of 2023. I want to say when I've read up on bits about when you kind of got the ball rolling, everything. How did it take you quite a while to get this one off the ground from when you kind of finished the script into actually filming?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the script came through me quite quickly, so that happened within 3 weeks, and that was actually at the beginning of 2018, so
Oh
quite a
wow.
long time ago. And it was the first time that I had ever written something. It just like came out of me. I was just so interested in those two characters. I just wanted to know the story. It was nearly like I was watching the film while I was writing it, and it felt quite pure and innocent and in a way personal because at that point I didn't even know if I would ever share it with anyone. But then I did share it with some people, and then I did find my producers, and we did start to look for partners, and then COVID hit. So then we were basically, like everyone, paused for a good 2 years or so. And then, yeah, then finally in 21, 22, just everything started rolling again. And then we filmed on the Isle of Skye, a lot in Glasgow, which is not part of the story, but the story is set on the Isle of Skye and London. And a lot of London we cheated into Glasgow and a little bit into Germany because we had a lot of German money in there. So we were also filming in Germany. Yeah.
Oh nice. Yeah, you see those. I mean, COVID hit so many films, particularly independent films. I would imagine that you did you get far down the line? Did it was it a terms of like you were about to start, or did
Oh
that you not get
no,
to that point yet?
no, absolutely not. We were at the very, very beginning. So I had only just found my producers and we were only starting to look into auditioning. But then we basically just couldn't do anything for quite a long time because, all the film funding, they first had to rescue other films and, made sure to pay the films who needed to stop before they could even put money into the new things. And then I was a first-time director. So, that's anyway hard. That's anyway hard to finance first time director films. So yeah.
Was that always the plan, and how difficult a process is that? Because I've interviewed so many people when it's their first film, or they've come from say TV, or they've done adverts, or they've done documentaries, to get someone to have that trusting you, even more so when you've written the thing as well. Was that process easier than you thought, or was it a lot harder than you had anticipated?
You know what? It was actually in a way easier than I thought because I think the script in a way spoke for itself
Hmm.
quite to quite a lot of people. Like a lot of people just identified with those two characters' journeys, and it just felt like the story, even though we're telling, a romantic love story, but at the same time we tell so many little love stories and so many little connections between people, between siblings, parents and children, lost love. So there's so many little bits and pieces in there where people could just connect and identify. So the story was really something, the script was really something that spoke to people immediately. But then it still was an easy process to finance because we financed the majority out of Germany, but we wanted to make an English language film shot in another country or in two other countries. Um, and that was really challenging. But my producers were just always so like optimistic and strong and hopeful. And Yeah, I think really everyone who came on board for this film just had such a power, like such a powerful vision, and yeah, we were just resilient when we needed to be, and didn't give up. And yeah, in the end, it happened, and the film's coming out now, which is obviously a little miracle and a big joy for me.
Indeed. Was it always the plan for you to play Kira? Was that something even before you maybe were going to direct it, or was you looking to maybe just do the filmmaking part rather than the acting part as well?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I was pretty much open to all the different options. I said to my producers, here's the script. How do we make this? Like, I want to make my directorial debut. I would love to do it with the script because I really like the script, but it's not necessary if you guys think, there's another way which is more realistic to bring it into being. But they were straight away like, no, 100% you should make your directorial debut with the film. And also we think you need to play Kira. And then, I was like, well, I really like the role, so yes, please. I would say yes to that. Yeah. So it was, of course, like, it's a big challenge, and I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's hard to take on so many positions and to take on so much responsibility at the same time. But at the same time, it was quite wonderful because I think because of the fact that I had written the characters, they all lived inside me already. And so the directing was nearly like, okay, the vision is already inside me. Now I just have to find the right people who align with me on that. Um, and then playing Kira was lovely. Yeah.
In terms, I mean, obviously, as an independent film, how quickly did you shoot this? Because I know for some independent films, they shoot quite quick because they don't have the luxury of time. They don't have the luxury of, a big budget, and wherever they're shooting, they have to, like you said, you shot in Germany, you shot in London, all over the kind of place. Did you
Yeah.
manage to shoot it pretty much how you wanted to do it, or were there some kind of bumps along the way that changed anything? Was it
Yeah, there
yeah,
was so many problems along the way. Obviously, there were like at least three major problems per day. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, looking back at it, and I think every filmmaker will agree with me, making a film, and especially the time of prep and the time of filming, it feels a little bit like a trip.
mm,
You're really just like quite high with your awareness. You're like quite awake. You have to be very quick with decisions, and you just like function. And if you're lucky, you have lovely people around you, and then you can also enjoy it a little bit. But yeah, you just say yes to something, and then you just go for it. And I think I was just lucky that I got such good talent. Like so, when we talk about cast, when we talk about crew, I just had such good people who came on board for that. And
mm.
then it's basically like they bring you so much to the table, and they like offer, 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 and and you're in this beautiful position of doing the artistic guidance, and just going like, okay, I would love to do this. Yeah, I would love to take this. And so you build it together, but it's really a collaboration.
Yeah. In terms of casting Ian, then did you always have a vision in your mind of what he? Were you quite specific with it, or were you quite open to the people that you were seeing in terms of the actor that you wanted? Was there did you have a specific kind of list of what you wanted, or were you quite open about let's see what someone brings me, and then maybe it will be what I want?
Yeah, I mean, again, we were super lucky with our casting director, Des Hamilton, who
Mm,
is a Scottish, but working out of London and Glasgow. And he had cast so many amazing films. And I just knew that, he comes with a lot of knowledge. He also comes with a certain reputation, so that if he brings the script to agents and actors, they will read it, because it's like, oh, something comes from Des Hamilton, so that must mean something good. Um, and then we just did quite a we had quite a wide range, like diverse actors from really all over Scotland. But it was important to us that we do find a Scottish actor for this role because Ian, he is Scottish in the film, and that was something that was really important to me. And Chris Fulton came somehow out of nowhere. And when I saw his very first tape, I watched it together with my cinematographer, Julian Kubasik. I wasn't even that sure about him because I thought he's quite pretty. And I just thought, I don't know. I had like imagined Ian a little bit more rough and, you know, these really beautiful eyes. Isn't that a bit too much? And then Julian said to me, Aylin, you're still telling a love story. Let's have a look at this guy. And then he came in And he was just, honestly, he's such a strong actor. He just comes with so much. He can play all these different notes of what we needed for the character Ian, which is an amazing humor, um, a very charming, fiery side, and then at the same time, this like depth and vulnerability. That was really important. And obviously, the chemistry between him and I was super important because, you know, yeah, in the story, we see those two people meet at the beginning of the story, German Kira and Scottish Ian, and at some point in the story they part. And we need to have built something by that point that people want them to spend more time together. Um, so yeah, we just did audition him. We were pretty much all of us just quickly quite clear about that he's our guy for the role. Yeah.
I mean, the love story at the heart of it, like you said there, it's kind of unorthodox in the sense that you purposely put them together, but then take them away from each other again because they're both in this. I don't know. They're in their 30s. They're still trying to find themselves. They both had really difficult kind of lives up to that point. When you wrote the story, was that always kind of what you wanted to do? That you wanted to kind of tear them, not tear them apart, take them apart for a while before they, not to give any spoilers away, but before they do eventually reconnect.
Well, it was clear to me that they would meet in like a remote place, and that their actual lives are in London. So that was clear to me. How I would get from their meeting to seeing them in their actual lives when they're not in the little bubble of the Isle of Skye, that was something that I didn't know when I first started writing. So basically, the way I wrote was quite dreamy. You know, the way that one writes. I don't know if you ever did a thing. This is actually a good recommendation for everyone who listens to this or sees this. There's a book called The Artist's Way, and it's an amazing book that is basically for people who want to connect to their creativity. That you go through a 3 months program, and you get all kinds of tasks, and you just have to like go with it. And one part of it is to write morning pages, which means that you have to, I think, 6 pages. You have to write 6 pages every day. You're not allowed to have an opinion about it. You're not allowed to think about it before. What do I want to write today? You just have to like put your pen down and just see what comes out of you. And I'd say this creative flow was a little bit what happened when I wrote, or what happens, I think, every time when I'm writing now, which is that I'm quite open to what's being shown to me rather than that I want to control it. It's more that I go like, okay, let's watch a movie. What will happen? And yeah, with this kind of innocence, I approach these stories. So yeah, I when I first started writing, I didn't know what the journey of Kira and Ian would actually be.
In terms of you obviously now getting into releasing the cinemas, I'm always fascinated by the journey in terms of like you finished it as an independent film and then you have this time in between where you're editing it, you're hoping to get eyes on it, you're hoping the film gets oxygen and people go to see it. How have you found that process? I can imagine it's quite difficult at times because you obviously got this film and you want people to see it, but also then you having to find people to distribute the film and all that kind of stuff. So how has
Yeah.
that process been, especially given that it's your baby in many ways?
So what's super interesting is that, as I told you, like a few years ago, I wrote the script and it was quite intuitively, and I don't think I actually knew what I was writing at the time. Now, a few years later, obviously, I've grown up a little bit more. You know, I still have a lot of questions about love and life, like I did explore with Falling to Place. But of course, now my perspective has changed a little bit, you know. And we actually had a preview in London the other day, in the Curzon Hoxton, and I was sitting in the cinema and I hadn't seen the film for a long time now myself. And I could somehow watch it quite objectively. And only now do I begin to understand the film really, where I'm
Mm.
like, wow, this is actually really a very human story because, we show people that really struggle with being in their human existence. And I think that is something that all of us can identify with. You know, we really live in quite a weird time, and our whole being is so influenced by, I think, the insecurities that we come with, that we grow up with, where as children we're so pure, we're so connected to our emotions. And then we grow up, and we get so much judgment um, in our school system and in the whole process into adulthood, we become so insecure with ourselves. And then we're now a generation that grew up with social media and dating apps. So that's only adding to it. So we live in a time where we are constantly being reflected that we need to be a certain something to be okay and to be accepted in this world. And that's really something when I now look at falling into place is what I really love about it, which is that the one thing that connects Ian and Kira is that they have such little love for themselves and they connect in that, and really their journey. I mean, obviously we hope that their journey brings them somehow together, but really their journey is for each of them a journey towards themselves, where they stop shying away from the dark places inside them and from their fears and yeah, from their belief that they are just not good enough. And it was beautiful when we had these like, festival screenings and we released the film in different countries now. So I've been a little bit all over the world to talk to audience in different places. Last place was Australia. And it's so nice because it really shows me that we are really all the same because the comments from the audience or the questions from the audience, it's all the same. We all just connect in our humanness. And I think that's why films like that are important for us to just sit in a cinema and just feel vulnerable and understand that we all do. We all don't really know how to do our lives. We all just try our very best. And so, yeah, I hope that became a very long answer. I
Oh, so
hope
it's, no,
it
no,
still
no,
had something
it's a
to do
good,
with
great
your
answer.
question.
Has it now kind of got you the bug a bit more in terms of directing? Do you feel like this has been a good experience to the sense that, okay, I'm ready for the next
Mm.
one? Would the next one be your own work, or are you kind of feeling the challenge of taking on somebody else's work?
I mean, again, I'm super open. Like 100%, I want to do more directing, and I have written my next script as well that we are at the beginning of financing now. So I would definitely like move onwards on that journey. And at the same time, I also very much still like to just be an actor here and there because, it's like so nice with this project that I'm doing at the moment. It's like so nice. I just have to learn my lines. I just have to like show up on set and do a good job. But in the time in between, I can actually have a life, which is not really possible when you do writing, directing, and acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I think that every time when I'm on a project like that, like wow, what an amazing dream I get to live by doing this job. It's beautiful. What a privilege. So yeah, really grateful.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I will ask you about what you're doing right now. You mentioned that at the start of the interview, you're doing a part of the
Oh yeah,
Fallen universe, and you're
yeah.
in Malta, which is pretty bizarre. Can you tell us anything about it? Because it seems like super secretive. But that universe, as
Yeah,
it stood
yeah,
in
yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Butler films, is quite a big. There's quite a big audience for.
Yeah, absolutely. I will only say what has already been published to not give anything away and get into problems here. But basically, basically, so there's a series which is based on the universe that has been created with the Cinema Has Fallen films, and it's a series. It's a Studio Canal and Amazon UK production, and. Uh, and the first season is already out, called Paris Has Fallen, so people can already watch the
Yeah,
first season. Yeah. And I'm now coming in for the second season, which is called Apollo Has Fallen. Um, and yeah, we've already been filming in Wales. We're now filming in Malta. That was that something that I was allowed to say? Well, I've said it now. So that's happening. And yeah, it's great. It's great. That's all I can say. It's an amazing cast, it's an amazing team. I have to do a lot of action stuff. So yeah, I love it. It's beautiful.
yeah. You get the yin and the yang. Get to talk about your film, and then get to do something like Follow Has Fallen. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
crazy, crazy stuff. Eileen, it's been absolutely lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the
Thank
best.
you.
It's really wonderful and sweet and charming. And yeah, hopefully we get to speak again when you do something else.
Yes, please. Definitely. Let's do that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
bye.
Take care. Bye.